Let's go through LeetCode 2730. Find the longest semi-repetitive substring. For this question, to give us string S, and let's find the longest semi-repetitive substring. A string S is called semi-repetitive if there is at most one consecutive pair of the same digits inside T. So, for example, 0, 0, 1, 0. This pair 0, 0, it is one pair. So this is a semi-repetitive. But this one 0, 0, and for example the 1, 0, 1, 0, 2, 2, 0, 4 repetitive. So it's not a semi-repetitive. So for example 1, 1 and 8, 8. So 0, 2 here. So it's not a semi-repetitive string. So that means the repetitive substring is can only appear at most once, right? So what we do is that we need to use two pointers. If there is string, right, we compare with its previous one. So if equals, then our repetitive counts will add one, right? And if this count is greater than 1, then we use a while loop to shrink the left pointer to get this count to be smaller, equal to 1, right? So actually, we don't need to use a while loop. We just need to use some kind of index, right? So because for this kind of right pointer, if we move to here, we find the count is already 2. Then we can every time we move the right pointer, we find that it is a repetitive index, right? We can use some kind of index called last. Okay, so this is the last index we find for y, which is already has consecutive repeated pair. And we can also use a pre, right? So pre, for example, that is previous one, right? So we put this index here. So if the count is equal to, instead of write a while loop, we can have the left pointer to move here directly, right? So when so we can just use a if is to replace while, and we don't need to calculate how many repeated pair inside this range, right? Because we can use a two index to store it directly. And when jump out the if statement, then we compare the local with the global. So let's begin to write code for this. We need to have the char array equals this to char array, and we need a equals array dot length, left equals to 0, right equals to 0, and we have pre, right, equals 0, last equals to 0. And we need to have the repetitive counts, right? Counts equals to 0. So we'll say for right smaller than n, right plus plus, and we'll say if right greater than 0 and array right equals array right -1, right? In this case, what we need to do is that we need to update our last, our pre equals last, and our last will be right. And also we need to have the counts increment by 1, right? So I say if, so here we don't need to use a while loop because we know for the left point we just move to pre should be fine, right? Count greater equal to 0. Uh greater than 1, right? So we just do count minus and the left equals 3. And when we jump off this if loop or if condition, we have result equals max dot max result right minus the left plus 1, right? Because it is inclusive, right? Because it jumped here, the left is already here, right? So when left put here, and we destruct this pair already, so it is inclusive, and the right is here, right? So we return result. We don't have result yet, right? Let's convert this to Python code. So we know n equals length dot array, right? And anything else we need? We need to have result, left, right, pre, last, count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, all 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we'll say 4, right, uh, right in range A, right? If right greater than 0 and S right equals S right minus 1. In this case, we need to have the count plus plus, right? Count plus equal to 1. And we'll have pre equals last, and the last equals right, right? So let's say if count is greater than 1, we'll have count minus equal to 1 and left equals pre. And when jumping this out of the if, we'll have result equals max result right minus left plus 1. In the end, we just return result. Yes. It is a ON time complexity with a constant space complexity.